some simple 80s movie soundtrack, like Lethal Weapon-esque soundtrack. And, you know, just do some real simple pentatonic stuff. We're going to work on different sounds, like switching the pickups around while you're playing. Little lead, get some different tones. And some simple phrasing ideas out of the pentatonic scale that, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be fast and flashy to sound good. So let's get to it. Let's work on it. All right. All right, so this is going to be out of B minor pentatonic. Right, so I'm just going to the 7th fret right here, and I'm using my 2nd finger, and then I'm going to use my 3rd finger on the D and the G string. So we got, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up my 3rd finger and put down my 1st finger on the G string 6th fret. So we got, and I'm muting out this A string the whole time. And then I go down to the chord change. We're going to go to 3rd fret on the low G, or low G, jeez. 3rd fret, low E for excellent. And then we're going to do 2nd finger, 3rd fret, B string. And then we're going to do our 3rd finger, 4th fret, D, and our pinky on the 4th fret, G. And then we're going to mute out that A again. So we got kind of a funky chord. And then our next chord is going to be 2nd finger, 5th fret, low E. 1st finger is going to be on the 4th fret, D string. 3rd finger is going to be on the 5th fret, B string. Pinky is going to be on the 6th fret, G string. And then back to, right? So it's straight out of like a 80s cheesy romantic, you know, death movie. So, it's like one of those movies where they're smuggling drugs on the boat, but they fall in love, and he tries to go straight, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, we're going to do right out of that kind of a movie. You know, some good echo was always nice. So, anyways, what am I talking about? Let's get back to learning how to play guitar. So, we got B minor pentatonic. Right, I'm assuming all of you know what a pentatonic scale is. So, when you're playing over chords like that, right, you got, right, you got a nice basic rhythm going on. So you don't want to come in just blazing. I mean, you could, but let's start off slow. So on this, I'm going to be in my bridge pickup on my telly here. So we got, right? So you can do just a couple notes, but how you manipulate the notes can really add a lot of that emotion. So I just went straight out of the pentatonic scale. I slid up from the 7th to the 9th on the A. So we got, and then I went right down the scale. Next string, I got 7, 9. And then I went to the 7th on the G and did like a quarter note bend. And then went to the root note here out of this B minor chord and resolved. So we got, right? And that vibrato and stuff like that's very important. I use my thumb as a pivot point, and I pull down if I'm going on the D, A, or E strings, and then I usually go up, vibrato up this way if I'm on the high E, the B, or the G, right? So if I'm, right, so on the G string I'm going up, on the D string down I'm pulling downwards. Alright, so anyways, so what you can do there is, so you got the, right? Now in the next phrase, Let's switch pickups. And resolve on a different note. So we got same pentatonic scale. So I'm sliding up from the 7th to the 9th. Going to the G string 7, 9, and I'm going to bend up on the 9. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the 10th fret B and then come down with it. Right? So I did that in the neck position. So it adds a little bass. So we got switch pickups. Now let's go back to the bridge pickup. Right, so you got another really mellow phrase. We're going to go up to that second position. So I slid up to 11 on the G, and I went to 10 on the B, 12, another one of those little quarter note bends. Right, so I got back into the B. You know, you got to land on some of those notes out of the chord. So that's the B note. And then you can slide out, you know, and go to nowhere land until you set up your next phrase. Now, in the next phrase, you know, would be where that chord changes. Right? That's when you can add your little flashy lick. Now what you can do is you can change up timing as well. So we've had real right, all the same kind of timing. Now we can add maybe double that speed. Right, so I mixed it up. I went. Right, we're staying right out of that same kind of speed, and then right here I went, and I kind of double timed it. So we got. Right, so that's just. Right, so that starts on the G. The quick pull off starts on the 9th fret of the D. So it's bend down and then slide down to the next position. Same kind of timing. A nice slow melodic. Right, and then you're coming back to resolve when you come back into the chord. So it's right, so it's just kind of calling and answering, real simple phrasing right out of the pentatonic. You know, you can add in those, you know, minor scale notes when you got. You know, you're just doing half note bends, getting you basically back into the pentatonic. Right, so far it's been just straight pentatonic phrasing. Now, anybody that's, you know, checked out my site and check out more videos, Papa Stash 102. Shameless plug. All right. So, anyways, So now what we can do is we can throw in those hybrid notes. So I'll be playing out of the pentatonic scale again, but I'm going to add a couple notes. So if this is our basic pentatonic. I'm only going to add a couple. So on this high E, I'm going to throw in this 11th. Right? And then you can throw in, you got to be careful if you're adding majory passing tones. You got to do them really quick. Really matters on what chord you're playing over if those are going to work. But you could use some of those in some of the spots. So we'll go 10, 9, 7, G string, 10, 9, 7. And then you can go 9, 8, 7, 9, 8, 7, 5, right? And then you can hammer on that 6. So let's play to the track and then see how some of those passing tone notes can come into effect. Right, so I just threw them in there. Their passing tones are going really quickly into a note that will resolve within the scale. You know, that's just straight up the D. But it's quick enough to where it catches the ear, but it doesn't, you know, land on that note and you're like, ooh, man. You know, out in the club and everybody's like, ooh, and they drop their beer, right? So we got... Same with this note, right? Sounds terrible. But if you use it quickly in passing, I also went from 5, 6, and 7. Right? So you can get that kind of 3-note per string run without having to go straight out of the minor scale and play a 3-note per string run, right? So we can get kind of the same rhythmic, percussive sound, you know, which also works too, but you can do it. Gotta throw in some bad notes and some open strings there. Right, so it can really spice up playing. So you can start simple and use that as kind of like your flash point to grab the ear, and then, you know, mix it up so that, you know, find out, you know, if you just take this one, right, scale and you figure out all those notes and then you apply them to each different position, you know. So I don't have time to go through every position and show you all those passing tone notes. But if you figure out what the notes are within that one scale I just showed you, then you can apply them all the way up and down the neck. So let's do a little bit more of playing to the beat here. We'll start off simple. I'll switch my pickups around. You know, don't forget that. It's a cool little change for the ear as well. So let's go back to the beginning here. right? Blah, 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 blah. But you get the idea. So we're going to woo! All right. So we're going to switch back and forth between slow phrasing, you know, maybe switching the pickups around. And then as the chord progression changes, we can add that little flash over that G and that A chord. And then go back to simple phrasing, switch your pickups again. You know, these are all just simple things you can do. You know, all those little inflections, you know, on the strings, the bends, right? So that's what it sounds like with no bending or anything of any kind. Now if you go, right, you automatically, or if I just did even without the vibrato, right, it automatically sounds a little bit more legit. Now if you add the vibrato on top of all of that, right, you really start to sound more musical, more vocal. Now you don't have to do the vibrato right away. You can, and then add it to the end of the note. So anyways, those are just some ideas. Work with them. See if they you know, can help your pentatonic playing and your blues, getting your soul on. And you know, work with that. Let me know what you think. All right. Catch you next time.